be the answer. The world-renowned expert on honeybees, Winnie the Pooh, once said, "The only reason for being a bee that I know of is to make honey, and the only reason for making honey is so I can eat it." That pretty much summed up my attitude about bees. Until earlier this year when my dad announced he was going to become a beekeeper. He thought it'd be a great way to spend time outdoors. I'm not much of a nature girl, so Dad passed over me to recruit my little sister, and she became his special beekeeping protege. When it came time for the first honey harvest, Dad and sister needed a photographer to record the event. I stood near the hive in my shorts and t-shirt, snapping shots and worrying about getting stung, as my dad and sister moved around safely in their protective beekeeping outfits. While the bees were buzzing all around me, it dawned on me, beekeeping is something really great for the environment. Next thing you know, I'm watching videos about bees. Honeybees are so important that they are the second most studied creature next to human beings. I discovered something else, something really frightening. Bees are endangered and headed for extinction. If bees die off, there will be a huge problem for us. Whether he knows it or not, my dad is an environmental activist, saving the world a little bit at a time, one hive at a time. I wanted in. I wanted to be part of the solution. Next thing I know, I'm out there with him, wearing my fashionable beekeeper suit and loving it. My family suggested that we start our own honey company. Maybe next year. For now, we just harvest our liquid gold and give it away to friends and family. Bees are the buzzing backbone of our agricultural industry, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Honeybees pollinate 80% of the United States crops, over $20 billion worth of crops each year. However, in the past decade, bees have been dying off at an alarming rate. We have lost almost 3 million bee honey colonies in the year in the U.S. alone. We are starving them, choking off their environment, poisoning them with our chemicals. Yet we still expect them to keep us stocked with honey and pollinate our crops? Why is this happening? Because of the choices we make every day. For example, farmers and gardeners use a pesticide that contains neonicotinoids, a chemical that imitates nicotine. These chemicals interfere with the bees' reproductive system and deplete their population. Ironically, something intended to help plants grow is devastating our most essential partner in the plant biosystem, honeybees. Albert Einstein said, "If bees disappear off the surface of the globe, then man will only have 4 years of life left. No more bees, no more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, no more man." Well, we're on the way to what Einstein predicted. Without honeybees, our lives would be very different. We would not have enough food to eat. Pollinating bees are responsible for 3 out of every 10 bites we eat. We would not have comfortable clothes to wear. Bees are responsible for the cotton underwear, socks, pants, and shirts we wear. And we wouldn't be able to start our day off with our morning coffee. We all know how terrible that would be. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. If bees disappear, the cost of food and clothing will skyrocket, and our standard of living will plummet. The world's fresh food and vegetable supply would immediately drop by half. Dairy production would dry up because there would not be enough food or alfalfa to feed the cows. Supermarket shelves would become bare. Millions around the world would die from famine and starvation. While bees are not going to disappear tomorrow, unless things change, they'll be gone by the time I'm 70 years old. If we don't want our kids and grandkids eating artificially produced foods, or in synthetic clothing, or becoming more dependent on dirty fossil fuels to survive, we need to do something about it now. And we can do plenty. We can choose to be green. We can find ways to promote more efficiently, live cleaner, and produce waste piling up on our planet. It'll just take a little bit of consistent effort and action from each one of us to create a massive impact. Each one of us working together can save our planet. Small, consistent steps can make a difference. An average worker bee only makes about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. Not much, but a colony of bees working together can fill a hive with hundreds of pounds of honey. The honeybee is not born knowing how to make honey. The younger bees are taught by the more experienced ones. That's what it's like for us as well. But maybe when it comes to saving our planet, saving the bees, preserving our future, it will take the younger bees, I mean humans, to teach our grandparents and parents. So here are some ways you and I can make a difference for the bees, the environment, and our survival. We can create honeybee-friendly habitats in our yards, parks, and other outdoor spaces by planting flowers, herbs, and vegetables that attract them. We can encourage urban beekeepers like my dad and so many others by celebrating their efforts, buying their honey, and welcoming their worker bees as they visit our yards. We can avoid using poison on our yards and use organic or natural methods to promote plant growth and unwanted pests. When we shop or eat out, we can select foods that are bee-friendly, like vegetables, grains, and fruits. Foods that are locally grown so they don't require burning fossil fuels to bring them to our markets or tables. We can make better choices in our schools to reduce our environmental footprint, like we've done here at Wolcott. Our school was awarded the U.S. Department of Green Education ribbon for our environmental efforts. We can strive to do better to reduce the over 2 tons of waste our school generates per year. We can even add a hive or two on the top of our school's roof. We can be mindful that the bees are our friends and they need protection from invasive species such as the murder hornets or invasive plants such as kudzu. Bees create much more than they require, enough for every hungry bear or sweet-toothed human to share. Bees don't produce waste products that take decades to decompose or require landfills to bury. They are more productive than required and work together for the common good of the hive. Bees might be small insects, but their ability should not be underestimated. They could teach us much, from their system of organization to their ability to live in harmony with their environment. St. John Chrysostom, a respected thinker of the early Eastern Orthodox Church, wisely concluded, "The bee is more honored than other animals, not because she labors, but because she labors for others." And by saving the bees, we'll be saving our own future, making our world a little sweeter, as sweet as honey. Thank you for being the answer.